Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulihi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in wa man tabi'ahum bi ihsani ila yawmiddin wa ba'd. I'd like to welcome you to tonight's broadcast of the Black Imams Roundtable. I am Imam Faheem, one of your co-hosts. I'm here with my esteemed brother Imam and fellow amigo, Imam Naeem Abdullah of Masjid of Pittsburgh, who's back in the country, back in the States with us, safe, alhamdulillah. And our beloved brother, Imam, our leader, Imam Amin, as you all know, he's not feeling well, so we ask you all to please make dua for him, inshallah, and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give him a complete and perfect healing. Amin. And also, before we begin, we would like to remind all of you to share this on your platform and, hit likes and share it on your pages, on your platforms. So, inshallah, we can get more viewers and, exposure to more people and, get our thing popping tonight. You know how we do it. Alhamdulillah. And also, don't forget, we request a cover fee from all of you. A minimum of $10. You could do $10. You could do more. You could pay for yourself, and you could pay for another person. You can pay for 5 people. You could pay for 10 people, or you could just cover the whole thing. It ain't about nothing. Alhamdulillah. So, alhamdulillah. So Imam Naeem has showed his participation. So tonight's show, this will kind of be like if any of you ever used to watch the Chappelle show. So now Imam Amin represents Dave Chappelle when he took off because he lost his mind because they tried to make him put the dress on. And me and Imam Naeem, we the Charlie Murphy and Ashley Larry of the show tonight. Imam Naeem is Charlie Murphy, aka Darkness. And I'm Ashley Larry, but I'm so light you can't really tell the ash on me or not. So I can squeeze by. Alhamdulillah. So, our Imam is, not feeling well. And of course, he wants to be in, tip-top shape to, present himself to you. So, please excuse him and I'll offer dua for him. Al-Fatiha, inshallah ta'ala. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Amin. Okay, so tonight is going to be some general advices from us. A part of it will be that, and part of it will be a continuation from last week's show. We were discussing, some ideas about economic empowerment for us as Black American Muslims, and we had a very lively discussion with some of our guests that we allowed to come on. And again, I think I kind of had to leave. Well, I forgot what last week. Either I had to leave or my connection started getting bad. So I do want to take the time to apologize. I usually don't let people get to me like that. But we had the brother that was on as a guest. We had him. I was talking to him prior, and what really threw me off because he started talking different when he got on. But be that as it may, alhamdulillah, it was still fruitful, it was enlightening, and may Allah bless that brother and all of the brothers who joined us last week and all of their endeavors, and inshallah, there may be a portion of the show tonight, if I'm not mistaken, that we'll still be able to discuss some things and have any of you who want to come on, inshallah. But we had a very nice discussion about economic empowerment. And that's one of the things as a community that we can really start off. Last week, I mentioned something about, I was looking at it was a page about the 25 most powerful, the richest families in the United States, and all of them were, the least amount, they were worth like 20 billion. And the most was the Walmart family, the Waltons. They were worth $270 billion as a family. And, there were no, of course, there were no Black families in there, And, I always had this idea that we as a people can be one family. We as a people can be one family where we put our twos and fews together and we build something from scratch and just let it grow and let it grow and let it grow. And then we can be a force of power, Um, we oftentimes in this country, there's a big discussion about reparations, and of course we deserve them, and this country owes them to us as they promised us, and they never delivered on their promise. And then even now in 2021, we've seen legislation being pushed forth for other people, other minorities to get some, compensation for their shortcomings, and minorities that were here at the same time we were, and that, like, the Japanese and things like that, receiving compensation from this country, and we're still, trying to, get reparations from this country, and they don't have any kind of inclination to give us anything, because as we mentioned last week, each one of those 25 families was to part with $2 billion each, which will give us $50 billion in capital, and it will not even affect their wealth at all in the least. None of them will be crippled by the money that they would give to us. And now at the same time, we're still trying to appeal to these people who have used everything at their disposal to disprove us as even humans, through legislation, through education, through psychology, through religion, through science. Everything that they ever had at their disposal, they used to try to displace us as even as human beings. Have any of you ever heard of the I think we talked a bit about this before, about the science of phrenology? You never heard of that science of phrenology? If you ever saw the movie The Django, they kind of touched on it a little bit. Remember, he had the skull of the human being, and they had a science called phrenology where they said that a person, that they determined how smart they were by the size of their skulls, and so they said that that black people had like smaller skulls, so that made them like a little bit like as not as intelligent as white people. So they actually had a science, of course it didn't stand up, but they tried to make a science to prove that we were inferior because of our skull sizes, and it's just a lot of sick things when you discover history, or you unravel some of the history in this country. It's really disheartening, So, and as we go through all of these years we've been here, we've been great citizens. We've been, we fought in wars. We stood for this country. And still today in 2021, you can easily go online or turn on the news and find somebody that got shot by a police officer, an unarmed person of color. Very easily. Very easily. It ain't hard to find a news story about an outrage of an unarmed person getting, murdered and stuff like this. So we see all of these things. Then, it should be a concentrated effort for us to really develop something for ourselves economically, and one of the things that we're doing here, when we ask people to donate a minimum of $10 or more, we're building a pot, and alhamdulillah, we've accumulated some, and we have some ideas that I think tonight Imam Naeem mentioned. We're going to appeal to some of our family, our Trade 45 trade gang, to see, what it's hitting for, how can you help us to develop so we can give back to you, because, and somebody mentioned last week, a very important thing that should not be ignored is that the trust that has been, or mistrust from, leaders, black leaders or black Muslim leaders, and that's something that can't be ignored. But it's something that that we will hope that you all, know that we are people who are trustworthy. We don't have any kind of hang-ups. We don't have any kind of things like, lavish living or any things like that. Because if I was to really tell you some of the stuff that we're going through, you would really have to give us more money. You would really have to give us more money. But, we're the kind of imams, we soldiers, we take it on the chin, and we really take a lot of stuff for the community. So it's easy to take a loss. And alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put us in these positions to serve people. So that is first and foremost, so we continue. So we believe that all of the work that we've been doing here and keeping this program going for a year now. Is it a year or more than a year? It's more than a year, right? Every week, and other programs we've done, and then individually, we do our classes. So it's all about really connecting the hearts of our people whom we care about, because honestly, this is really not something that we need to do. This is not something that is necessary for us to do what we do, because we all got communities. It's not hard to get a couple people who are committed to learning and get them in the masjid, make sure they know their thing, and helping them to develop. But we developed this online family, so we want to put ourselves at your service. But in order for us to operate, finances is a big thing. This is America. This is America, Jack. You know what I mean? So money is always going to be at the forefront. So it ain't about, getting rich. It's about just developing, putting the pot together, and the ideas will come that we need. In the past, we've already discussed a few of them. We just need to follow through. And something very important that we always try to push, we definitely need your help. One of the things that, in my experience as being a Black Imam, is that a lot of times people are looking for us to have all of the answers, and we don't have all the answers. A lot of times we had to learn things by trial and error, by experience. I know for me, I had to get the little bit of knowledge that I got out the mud. I had to go travel great lengths and sit with people and go, listen, I need to learn this. Can you teach me this? I'll pay you, this kind of stuff like that, so I can get it and bring it back to my community. You know what I'm saying? And so we've done all these things, and we bore all of the pressures that came with it. So in order that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make it a means for us to be, successful on Yom Kiyama, because, we like anybody else, we would like to chase a bag, we know how to get money, we know how to trap paper. I'm talking about legit now. Don't nobody take this the wrong way. We know how to hustle and do things where we can get paid. But we've taken on these responsibilities to try to do the best that we can, because and oftentimes we had to fill a void. There was a need for these situations where we had to assume leadership and we had to take care of things. I think I mentioned this before. I'm still baffled at how that I am even the Imam. How did I become Imam? People ask me this today. Oh yeah, I got one more thing to say. Listen, don't come up to me in public and be like, yo, I seen you on the Black Imams Roundtable. Because it's starting to get scary. I seen somebody with Lawyer. I was at Aldi's. So a brother gave me salams, and and I'm like, well, alaikum salam. I didn't really recognize him. He said, yeah, I know you. Well, you don't know me, man. Like, yeah, boom back. I'm like, man, these people gonna get me killed out here, man. Yeah, but no, it's all good. But I often wonder now, how did I even get a chance to be the Imam? But now I realize it was just because I always try to take care of people, even from my days in Jahiliyyah. I always try to take care of people. So, and I was always the type that I never tried to pass the buck. You know what I'm saying? Like, if a situation crossed my desk, even in Jahiliyyah, before I was Muslim, like, what's up? What? Let's go handle it, and it's the same thing in Islam. So I just, got, caught up with, leading a salat, and then somebody needed to get married, and then there was janazah, and then there was, some type of intervention that needed to be taking place. And somebody had to go talk to this brother, somebody had to go talk to this sister, then somebody had to go visit this sick one. And all of that is part of what we do, because normally in most Muslim countries, the Imam is basically responsible for like leading the salah and teaching some classes. But the stuff we got to do, subhanAllah, a lot of stuff we won't even talk about online, because you just can't. There's a level of trust there that we're not going to talk certain things. But alhamdulillah, it is what it is. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us to continue to do this work. So, and he has brought us here at this very point with you all. And so we need to keep this going. So we always appreciate you. We appreciate your time and your efforts and your donations and everything you do for us. But we got a few plans coming, you know. So just stay tuned, alhamdulillah. And this is going to really turn into something big, inshallah. So I'll start with that's my opening talks, and I turn it over to the genius over there.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ورضي الله تعالى عن السادة التابعين وعلماء العاملين وأئمة الأربعة المجتهدين ومقلديهم إلى يوم الدين أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Alhamdulillah, man, I don't know where to begin at, man. I'm happy to be back with all of you with decent internet. Alhamdulillah. Allahu Akbar. You know, every time I travel to Gambia or, or from Gambia, people always say, well, are you happy to be back or are you sad that you left? And for me, I get the blessing. I get to feel happy and sad at the same time, no matter which direction I'm traveling to. Because when I'm in America, if I'm going to Gambia, I'm leaving family, so I'm sad. Leaving the community, so I'm sad. But I'm happy because I'm going to family. You know, it's not like I'm over there as a tourist. You know, I have family over there. So I'm happy about that. Likewise, when I'm leaving Gambia, I'm leaving family. So I'm sad. But I'm going to be reunited with my family in America. So I'm happy again. So, you know, every time uh, I'm traveling, you know, is always a mixture. It's always depending on what I'm thinking about. If I'm thinking about who I'm leaving, okay, I'm sad I missed them. But if I think about who I'm going to, alhamdulillah, it's a good thing. So, alhamdulillah, it's a blessing. So, you know, alhamdulillah. So, you know, I love it. Well, alhamdulillah. Uh, we, as Imam Faheem indicated, this week we wanted to talk about, we really wanted to be like a part two to last week because we always talk about things, but a lot of times we don't, when I say we, just people in general, we don't actualize things. So we're just going to touch on it and kind of like remind you, but inshallah, when our Imam gets better, Imam Amin, may Allah protect and preserve him, uh, inshallah, by next week, we really want to have a full out conversation about investments because you all have been supporting and donating, right? And it's been building and building and building. So we need to start talking about investments because I don't know if a lot of you pay attention to it, but most Muslim communities, regardless if it's us, meaning Black Muslim communities or others, they have a model and it's not really sustainable. The model is whether it be the masjid or the school, an Islamic school or some other institution. The model is we have a budget. It costs us X amount of dollars to function every year. The way we survive is by donations. Donations are never enough. So we're going to have a fundraiser every year to close the gap or to bring us out of the red so that we can, you know, continue to function. You know, that's just, you know, a stripped down version of how most of the Muslim communities operate. Now, a lot of communities you all may not know unless you active internally in the masjid. Usually there's a handful of affluent or even not affluent, just business owners who took it upon themselves that every month, every week, or every year they're going to donate a sizable amount of their revenue towards the masjid to keep it going. And that's usually what keeps the masjid going. is not usually the money that you see going into the sadaqah box. I learned that a long time ago. There was a masjid I was a part of back in the day, Masjid Taqwa in Brooklyn, Imam Siraj Wahaj. I remember then, back when I was going there, the the numbers for Juma basically were between 900 and 1200 every Juma. And when they would collect the money for sadaqah out of the sadaqah box, sometimes it'd be like $500 in there. You got 900 people coming for Juma and a low number, and you only collected $500. And I'm just giving that one example. Our masjid is the same way, and we're not dealing with 900 people, right? We're dealing with way less than that, right? And a lot of communities are the same way. But just like a lot of communities, what keeps the masjid going are those fundraisers that they do every year or what have you, and those secret people that you don't know made it their business to carry the masjid on their back, right? And so, and believe it or not, a lot of Islamic schools operate that way. A lot of Islamic schools operate that way. What do you mean? Okay, you have the student. The student pays tuition, right? And that tuition is supposed to pay for the whole school. That don't cut it. That's why, teachers in this country are already underpaid. Teachers in Islamic schools are underpaid even more than the regular teachers. And all the tuition in the world is not going to cover what the teachers need to get paid on top of everything else, maintaining the facilities and everything else. So Islamic schools do fundraisers, right? So I'm saying all that to say the pull all of you all's coat to know that that's not sustainable. That can't last forever. Now, on top of that, add to that the fact that with our communities, meaning Black folks, right, we don't got money like that, right? So that's even less sustainable. That's not even really sustainable in an affluent community. But they just got so many professional, well-paid people that they can go. Us, we don't have the luxury of having all of that. So we have to be a little bit more innovative. And for us, I believe that for all of our institutions, we may start off with donations, but at the same, we have to somehow parlay that, or as we say, flip that into business ventures or investments that will sustain the masjid or the school, or in this case, the Black Imams Roundtable. So I'm saying all of that to say that we have some ideas, but next week we're really going to be depending on you all to bring your ideas to the table, and maybe we may take one or more of your ideas and use that to put some business behind what we're doing. So it's not only our donations that keep things going, but it's the businesses that we start or invest in that will even add to it. In other words, we're trying to flip our money. So I just wanted to mention that. Well, alhamdulillah. So, but in the meanwhile, keep donating. The money is building, and building, and we need to keep it building. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Where to start? So tonight we're talking about.
Oh, hold on, before you start, Imam, we gotta give a special shout to Miss Joanne. Miss Joanne is in the building. Everybody, put your hands together and give a round of applause, a virtual applause for Miss Joanne. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, Miss Joanne.
All right, yeah.
Alhamdulillah. Man, last week when we began, Isla said, Imams, will there be any business experts included in next week's talk? We didn't have anybody in mind. We planned on making it kind of like open, like we did last week, but instead the focus will be on actual ideas that we could possibly, you know, uh, use or capitalize on. So, but if there are any experts, anybody, if there is any experts that want to come on and, you know, enlighten us or, you know, add some professionalism to the discourse next week, we definitely be more than willing to bring them on. Like I was talking to Imam Amin last week, and like he was saying, like for example, like it could be someone, it could be one of you out there who's doing something maybe on a small level, whatever type of business it is. It's on a small level, but maybe with our investment, you can expand it and do it on a bigger level, and that way benefit, you know, not only yourself but the Black Imams Roundtable, and you know, make our pot grow. You know, everything is on the table. So this is going to be kind of like of what you call it, like a think tank or workshop next week, inshallah. Uh, Alhamdulillah. Uh, Last week I mentioned, and this is really uh, based upon what Imam Faheem just mentioned. Last week I mentioned a hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and just to remind you, it's been related by Imam at-Tirmidhi in his Sunan and narrated by Abu Huraira, who said that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Ta'allamu min ansabikum ma tasiluna bihi arhamakum, fa inna salatul rahmi muhabbatun fil ahli, mathratun fil mali, wa mansha'atun fil athari," which means learn enough about your lineage or lineages to facilitate keeping your ties of kinship. Learn your lineages to facilitate keeping your ties of kinship. For indeed, the ties of kinship encourages affection between family relations, increases wealth, and increases the lifespan. And I was reminded of this hadith again when Imam Faheem just mentioned how like we are like one big family and we need to be thinking like one big family, because and I'm adding to that because for most of us the knowledge of our lineages were taken from us during the slave period, during the period, you know, of forced servitude. So a lot of people on earth, they can tell you something even if, you know, they're not experts in their own lineage or family history. They know what their people is about. And you know, when you leave America and you go to a non-Western country, you're always reminded of this. Like when I go and interact with people, you know, first thing that they ask you, like when I'm in Gambia, what's your surname? You know, your last name, your family name. And when I say Abdullah, I always get this baffled look because with traditional people, your family name, your surname, your last name is connecting you to somebody. In Gambia, Abdullah is not, you know, a regular family name. That's a regular first name. So Abdullah is like, well, you can see their wheels turning. Well, we don't know where to connect you to. You say Abdullah, that's not, you know, a regular family name here. Wait a minute. No, your surname. I'm like, yeah, that's my surname, right? So I got, you know, and I got that in more than one country, Muslim country that I've been to. And so I'm saying that to say that, you know, because, you know, our human right of knowing who we are was taken away from us, that we have to uh get in where we fit in. We have to fill in the void. We have to make our own family. And this is extremely important. And so, you know, we have to think of ourselves as a people. As a people is extremely, because everybody else does that. And this is how people are able to elevate and advance. And I mentioned in my class that I just had before this, we did a black lesson. I mentioned how when you have a family, your family, you have extended family and your connection. when you look at black folks, and I'm going to end my beginning introduction talk on this. When you look at black folks, when I say black folks, I'm talking about African Americans, right? When you look at us, right, we are disconnected on so many different levels that we're not able to benefit the way certain other people benefit. For example, every other people have a back home, right? Like there's this brother in our community. He's originally from Ghana. His name is Abdullah. Y'all met him when y'all came here, right? And we always mess with him because he been over here since like the 70s, I think, or maybe the 80s, right? Like, man, you ain't from Ghana, man. You ain't from Accra, man. You from Homewood. So there is a hood in Pittsburgh, right? You from Homewood. You ain't from Ghana. Well, we always mess with him. But whenever he talks, he's like, back home. What you mean back home, right? Here's back home. You ain't from Ghana no more. But he still has back home, right? And he's here, but obviously he has family back home. And because he has a back home, he's connected. He's able to do a lot of things that we're not able to do, right? Even if you look, I just give you an example. A black American drug dealer can never be what the connect, right? Because number one, we here. We ain't got no connections in South America and in South America where they're producing the drugs and where they and the ones who are responsible for transporting the drugs, right? So a black American drug dealer is always going to be dependent on someone else to get his drugs. He's never going to be the one, when you're dealing with business, right? You want to control all parts of the chain. You want to control where the product is being produced, the transportation, and everything, right? People doing crime, drugs, they will never be able to be involved with the production, meaning where they grow the drugs at, because you ain't there, right? That's not your back home, right? It's somebody in Asia or somebody in South America, and that ain't you. So you're always going to be at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to dealing drugs, illegally. If you look at organized crime, the mob, the mafia, they had a back home. Sicily, Italy, right? Even though when you listen to the mob experts, these documentaries, they make a distinction between a mob here and a mob in Sicily. They got a name for them over here and they got a name for them over there. But the ones who are most effective, the one who last longer, the one who was most organized in their crime, were those who had the strongest connections, not only here, but back home, Italy. I even know about a dude, I ain't mention his name, but he was known for putting a hurting on a lot of people. And this guy, he was an immigrant from the Caribbean. And when he would put hurting on people, he would get hitmen from another Caribbean island to come here, put in the work, and fly back to the Caribbean. He's able to do that because he got connections back home, right? And I think some of us, we have to start thinking like that. I know I use more negative examples than positive examples, but it's the same. When you have a connection back home, wherever that may be, for me, it's Gambia, right? I'm able to do stuff. I'm able to make stuff happen. And a lot of us, when we trying to make moves, we trying to make money, we trying to, make our family tighter, we have to stop thinking in this local, only us and my crew box. You have to start thinking a lot bigger than that. Alhamdulillah. And I think I went off, but my mind's all over the place. So I'll pass it to prevent myself from rambling even more.
Oh no, alhamdulillah, there was a lot of good points there, Imam. Yeah, one of the things, just listen to Imam Naeem's talk, we have to really get this concept down of being selfless, really being selfless with each other and understanding that we are family. We keep, stay with the same goal, as us as Black people in America, we have a different kind of mentality. You know, I mean, we're loving, we're forgiving, you know, we're confrontational, we're on edge, you know, we're combative, we do a lot of things, right? And we have to try to make that as cohesive as possible, because we also have a tendency to break off from each other when things don't go right. You know, and this one thing is we're a family. We're going to stay a family, inshallah. You know, and I mention that because, you know, when we start developing these things and we start getting these ideas together as a family, we should know that every idea is not going to be entertained. You know, every concept is not going to be feasible. You know, even though we gave our money, because sometimes we like to think like that. You know, that we gave our money, you know, then I have some type of input. You know, and that's important. You know. But sometimes as a family, we want to try to, you know, trust the people that we look up to and we recognize as authorities, and, you know, just let them make the plans for us. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, have that trust. We have to have a manner with each other. You know, we have to have confidentiality with each other. We have to have love with each other, and just, you know and trust that, you know, we're going to reach a point, inshallah, that we could turn this into something for ourselves. You know, because I'm always a stickler, you know, like in my community, you know, people, you know, always talk about, you know, writing grants and stuff like that. And that's important. And it's something that's good. But, you know, I might like, man, listen, we can pull our stuff out the mud, you know, we can do it ourselves, man. And we own it. We operate it, and nobody can tell us what to do. Nobody can come and do all of these checks and, you know, having us under surveillance. And why is this like that? You know, imagine us being a trade 4-5 trade family, you know, and our name is up there at Fortune 500. You know what I mean? As a collective, you know, we become the 26th family up there with the with the white folks. You know what I mean? And we might can't see that, but we can do something small, and then it grows. You know, then it grows, and we stay together. We keep doing the work. We keep supporting each other. We keep coming to the events, and, you know, wallahi, we can do something really big. You know. I'm a real big fan of that, you know, like in my community, I'm always thinking people like, listen, man, you know, you cover it, you know what I mean? You got it like that, you do it, you know what I'm saying? You can cover this, man, you know, it won't hurt you. You know, Allah's going to replace this for you, you know, plenty, 10-fold, 20-fold, 100-fold, you know, just go ahead and take care of it, man, you know. And another thing that I'm always talking about is not just money. And we've all meant not just money, your ideas. What are you planning in your own individual life for you to get ahead? Share with us, you know, pull us up too, you know, show us how to get the bag, show us how to write a business plan, show us how to, you know, itemize things. Whatever we need to do as a unit, bring it, you know, because if we do it as a family, nobody's going to lose out, you know. And, you know, we famous for that crab in the barrel mentality, man. You know, and these are some of the things that we need to turn around. You know, forget all those any apprehensions that prevent us from being with us, that prevent us from doing us, you know what I mean, as a unit, you know what I mean? We have, you know, and then once we build, then we can show other communities how we did it. And they'd be like, well, what was the secret? It wasn't no secret. You know, we just stayed consistent. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, you know, that we stay consistent. You know, we stay on it. We keep sharing. We keep building. We keep conversing. We keep, you know, bringing our energy, bringing the ideas. We keep donating, and it'll turn into something spectacular, you know. And we have a unique opportunity to do that now, you know, because, you know, being, you know, from a background of being like pro-black, you know, and you always hear one of the narratives that we come from a great and mighty people, you know. And we do. And then I always thinking like, can we really keep claiming that if there's some things that we just seem like we can't do and everybody else can? Like, how much can we depend on that? You know, we see other ethnic groups, and, you know, no disrespect to nobody, but they come, they support each other, they lift each other up. They, you know, they give their people stipends. They give them, you know, they give them a way to be on their own. You know what I'm saying? And then it's never no issue. You know what I mean? Why can't we do that? As great as we are, as much civilization that we come from, as much knowledge that we have, you know, why can't we do it? You know, and it's not impossible. We just got to, break down all of those barriers that prevent us from each other, And the main thing we have that's supposed to be the ultimate love is that, we say La ilaha illallah, and we come from a long line of people who loved Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and because of that, they were ready to go to great lengths, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says that they are the best ummah. Kuntum khayra ummatin ukhrijat linas. You are the best people to come out from mankind. Why? Because we prevent we join what is right, we prevent what's wrong, and most important, wa tu'minuna billah. We believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is what unites us. We got, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, we did like a check of where everybody was from. We got people from all over the country united by La ilaha illallah and love for each other. I mean, we could that's supposed to be something special. Not supposed to be something special. It is something special, and we have to make it spectacular, make it super spectacular. You know what I mean? Keep going, keep going, keep going. Don't give up, and have trust that we can do something really big. And it's going to take time. We all know people who, develop businesses, you got to have a 5-year business plan. You got to give it 5 years to grow, stuff like that. You're going to probably take a loss and, and when it first starts out and all that kind of stuff. But in the end, it grows. It grows. Sometimes you got to, you read business people, they went through tremendous struggles, People shut the doors in their face. You know what I mean? I was watching that movie, King Richard. Will Smith did about Richard Williams, Serena Venus's father. That nobody had believed in him and his 2 daughters. He said he pitched it to so many coaches, and they were just like, "Are you serious? No, that's not going to happen. You're going to have 2 black girls as the number 1 tennis players in the world? Nah. They thought he was crazy, but he didn't give up. We don't give up. We just keep pushing forward, easy, taking our time. And we're in a position now that, it's not even difficult for anybody. It shouldn't be difficult for anybody to give $10 or $20. That's money that we waste. That's money that we waste weekly. You know what I mean? So to sacrifice, a day, a lunch tab or a coffee tab to build something that we can be great, why not? Why not? And I think we've shown in all this time, and outside of this connection online and the classes with Imam, Amin, we've interacted with some people in person, and we are who we say we are. We are who we say we are, and but I do apologize. I'm not, we're not these spectacular personalities that people be looking for. I'm sorry, we're not flashy and got little trinkets, and I'm sorry, but if you need my service, I got you. It's primarily for my people, my community. But now that we built a family, everybody that recognizes the family is part of the 3453 family. I'm at your service. You know what I mean? I'm at your service. So I do apologize. We don't have them outgoing personalities. We're not, people, I don't know. We mentioned this before. Like, seem like you gotta be like a conniving scammer, charlatan for people to give you support. But when you being real from the heart and doing this for no other reason except that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will hopefully accept it, it's like, people looking at you side eyed. But all of the charlatans, man, they eating good, man. They living good, they got all these crazy requests that people honor. I don't know, man, but mashallah. But we'll keep chipping at it, what I mean? Yeah, not phony, not phony. We mentioned this before. If all it was just to stop the day, if they shut the internet down, we still got work to do. We still got a lot of work to do. We still got a lot of responsibilities to carry for our communities, and we're not going to stop, So, and we picked up an added responsibility in connecting with Imam Amin and connecting with you all as a Trade 45 Trade family, and so it's nowhere to go but up. So let's just keep at it. And I could tell you, and you all know, I mean, this is the family. We're talking the family. Giving money is the easiest part. You Imam Naeem mentioned about some of those communities where they have a core of people that make sure they take care of it. You know why they do that? Because they do that to offset the commitment that they know they should be doing, and they don't. You know, when they don't come to the masjid, you know, while Yada Billah, some of them don't even be praying. They don't cover. Some of them compromise their Islam. But they got one thing. You know what? Allah bless me with this money. Let me get back to the community. Let me help. Let me pay this tuition. Let me take care of the whole cost to replace the heating system, the cooling system. Let me replace the kitchen. Let me replace the carpet, you know. And they do those things. And we got people that can do that stuff too, you know, as a collective. We got people that you know, rock with us every week who can take on some of these tasks for any of our communities, you know. And we just need to build it more because you know, we've got a bond here. You know, sometimes it's closer than with some people in person. You know what I mean? Some, you know, we see Muslims in person sometimes. They won't give you salams, and on here, you know, I'll be if certain people don't show up, I'll be like concerned, like, you know, where's what's the name at? Well, maybe we should reach out to him. I haven't seen him on the show, you know. And in this climate with COVID, you know, we do need to start checking on people more, not just us, but you know, people you don't see in the chats, you know, find out what's going on with them, inbox them, tell them, hey, I'm just checking on, you know, inshallah, everything is okay, all that kind of stuff, you know. So let's keep this momentum going, you know. And you know, as Imam Amin mentioned, you know, we have a great thing going on here, you know, and I'm like super excited to be about it, to be a part of it. You know I don't express it all the time. You know, it takes a lot for me to get talking, you know, but I mean, I can run my mouth, but it's just not, you know, I'm a quiet kind of guy. But I'm excited now because, you know, just the energy, you know, we have every Tuesday, the interaction, the chemistry we have, you know, being with good brothers that I know are tried and true, you know, people that I've never seen before who extend genuine love and support. Like, that really means a lot. As you know, Imam, you know, struggling Imam, a lot of times, just for people to even acknowledge that they care and that they understand, you know, that means a lot. So we do appreciate it, you know. But let's just keep at it, you know. Let's not give up, because we're not going to give up on you all. You know, we're going to keep doing our thing, inshallah, coming to you, having this platform. You know, we've had guests. We've sponsored programs. We've done a lot of things, and let's just keep at it, inshallah. So it's about 8 o'clock. We still have another whole hour of the show. But there was one. Is Abdul Ali on? Are we able to bring? So we able to bring anybody on? Yeah, Abdul Wali wanted to come on. So if anyone else wants to have any input or any questions, you know, the time is now, inshallah. And we have some general advice too, some things that I've been observing that I would like to express on this platform tonight, inshallah. But Abdul Wali, if you're there, you know, this is your chance, man. Or if anybody wants to join in, you know, please feel free to join the conversation. You know, if you joined already and you haven't donated, please, you know, feel free to donate. All right, there's the link, Akhi, you know, so, you know, come on in. Yeah, where's Muti? Somebody inbox Muti, like, you know, let him know, you know, we love you out, but you're delinquent. You miss it. All right, come on, Abdul Ali. Come on, boy, you's a fool, cuz. Yeah. Well, while we're waiting for Abdul Ali, there's some general advices, some gems. I think one of the biggest issues that we do, not just a family, but actually immediate families, you know, we need to really work harder at, you know, making sure that we get married and that we are having sustainable marriages, you know. And you know, being online and observing and reading certain things, you know, all of us, we be in different groups or engage in different people on our pages, and you read all types of outrageous stuff sometimes, you know. And I think, you know, one of the I learned something today. I didn't know it was this a whole movement called the Red Pill movement. Have you all heard of that? Have anybody heard of that called the Red Pill movement? Yeah, so it's like a movement that's kind of like it kind of revolves around men trying to like establish their rights back as men, you know, with women having so many opportunities, you know, economically, and like kind of like men being marginalized. So this red pill movement is kind of like men trying to assert themselves as being men, but it's really focused around like the whole dating game, you know. So that's why many of us probably never heard of it. But it's like kind of like it has gender wars implicit. Like men are kind of like they use it as a means to downgrade women and say women have all of these rights, or they have too many rights. Men are being marginalized and that kind of stuff. And but it was just something that I learned today. But as a Muslim, you know, all that stuff is dead, you know, because as Muslim men, you know, we marry women, we put them under our wing, and we take care of them, and whatever they can't cover, you know, we make it a hardcore initiative to cover more, you know, to cover everything from A to Z, inshallah, when we can. All right, so I'm gonna stop there because we got our brother Abdul Wali on.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Sayyidil Mursaleen, Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.
Oh, real quick, you got time, man. You got 5 minutes.
I actually was going to be shorter than that because I just really wanted to come on, you know, to apologize for, you know, my behavior last week. Just to let the people know that I do have a condition that actually, when my blood gets raised, I could get a little excited. So, you know, the energy before I got on kind of raised my blood. I got a little hype. So I kind of lost focus when I got a little caught in my emotions. And when your emotions take over, you lose your focus, you know. So I want to apologize for that. I actually got real sick after that show and I had to go to the hospital, and they had to like give me double doses of nitroglycerin and all types of stuff. Like I just got diagnosed recently with heart disease. So when I get too excited and I get upset, it actually affects me, which is a blessing in disguise because that keeps me that helps to keep me more calm. I have to think more. You know, I have to watch the environment I'm in. I can't allow myself to get too excited, but I'm naturally an excited person. So I just wanted to first apologize about that. And you know, Abu Hurairah reported, that the Prophet Muhammad SAW said, "Whoever does not think the people has not thanked Allah." So I want to thank the Imams, you know, our Imam Faheem the Boombat, Imam Naeem, and Imam Amin, our leader. You know, I really appreciate this. That what y'all do, I look forward to this, and you know, for the classes. Sometimes I sleep 1 or 2 hours just to get back up to join the classes. You know. It's very important. You don't know what it does mentally, physically, and spiritually. People really need this. What y'all doing is y'all sacrificing. Y'all got families, y'all got communities, and y'all sacrificing. So I want to thank y'all. You know, really, and just put that out there. May Allah bless y'all and continue to help y'all. But I really ask everyone that experienced that little energy that I gave to pardon me on that, to forgive me, pardon your brother. I'm really a passionate brother, and I love my people. I love, you know. I feel like I love Allah and His Messenger Sallallahu to the best of my dexterity, and I really want good for our people. I'm working behind the scenes on things that y'all talking about as far as economic development, and alhamdulillah, Allah has blessed me with a few things. So inshallah, in the near future, I'll bring some things to the table. But I just want to leave this message for the community that and I'm gonna piggyback off of what you said, Imam Faheem, about the you know, 10 richest people in the country or something to that effect. You know, a lot of issues that we have today, and as I mentioned it last week, was the mindset. You know, what's being outputted to us, and what we believe, our philosophies, our ways of thinking has actually been constructed. It's not even our own thinking, you know, because these people have learned how to think And one way is they set goals. But I don't know if you ever heard of blackexcellent.com, blackexcellence.com. And even though you may not have found no African Americans in that top 10 list, but you have a whole community that a lot of people don't know that's financially stable, middle class and upper class. Like you have Maryland. There's a place, real quick. There's a place in Maryland, Fort Washington, Maryland, and this is a historic place, a home to about 23,000 people, 70% of whom is Black. The average family income is $114,000 a year. I want to be, this is these rich Black communities, right? We have another place called Mitchville, Maryland. The average income is 118. We have another one that's in California, with Los Angeles, California, Ladera Heights. The average income there is 132,824. Many celebrities like Vanessa Williams and Tyler Perry, etc. Another place in California, $150,000 a year and more and up. So my reason is we have examples of excellence as far as financially stability, but their values are not the same values as ours. Their core beliefs is not the same values as ours. But what did they do to get where they're at? What was the process? What was the steps that they followed to get where they're at? Are they educated? Are they entrepreneurs? What was the mindset that they had? And this is the type of mindset that we need to focus on. If you want to find success, then you got to follow the footprints of success. And we know that there's footprints of success because there's the footprints of unsuccessful people. As Allah says in the Quran, do not follow the footprints of Shaitan. Do not follow the footsteps of Shaitan. Well, you do have footprints of the successful people, how we see success, as Muslims see success. So what we need to start doing, and I'm going to end it on this, is start to study these people of success and what we're looking for economically and follow it. We don't reinvent the wheel. We just add our own tire to it. We tweak it, but we take the fundamental principles. Because in all business and economic development, there's fundamental principles that govern all of them. We need to start applying those principles, buying those books, taking those courses, getting educated in those fields. There's three major principles of entrepreneurial success. That is the general business, specific business of whatever the business you're getting into, and a business of self-development, personal development. This is one of the biggest fields. And in order for us to achieve that, we're going to have to go through the personal development stage first. And this is kind of hard once you get to a certain age. So I'm definitely leaving it on this. We need to direct and microscope all our intentions on the next generation. We need to teach them these mindsets, these principles and these laws, and we need to guide them, because some of us, we already kind of stuck in our ways, so we need to focus more on them. So if we establish something, we should be establishing with the youth in mind, trying to figure out how we can get the youth to come to more of these events and teach these. And I would give you an idea. I would say maybe try to target the colleges, the college universities, the Muslims in the college universities. Have, some of y'all got daughters and sons, have them talk to the Muslim Student Association and get them to come to some of these events. That's one of the strategies me and my people are doing. We work with the Muslim Students Associations. I usually give cook bars at the colleges through the Muslim Student Associations. A lot of people don't know that, but that's another way we can get the youth involved. So I just wanted to leave that, that mindset that we do have excellence. We do have Black people who are, established financially, and they understand how this works. They understand how money works. And that's very, very important to understand how money works, and one thing that people who understand how money works is they don't trade time for money. They don't trade time for money, right? They start their own businesses and they invest and they give a lot of value to the people. They give a lot of value. The more value you give to the people, the more it helps you. That's what really life is about. It's not, like you said, not being, being selfless. Not being selfish, giving value, offering so much value that these people want you so badly, and that you got what they have in this organized and structured to build economic development while you're giving that value. And I'm gonna leave it at that. Inshallah.
Yeah, cuh.
Barakallah feek. Jazakallah khair.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, Assalamu alaikum, Akhi. I never seen you on before. What's your name, brother?
I'm the Chaotic Truth, man. How you guys doing?
Okay.
Yeah, man. I just happened to see your live stream, and I wanted to just hop on the panel and introduce myself. But the funny thing is that I heard you mention something about the red pill. I actually do a lot of color commentary on my page about red pill topics, etc. And I think you stumbled upon a philosophy that that could be of benefit for future live streams for your channel. I think I don't absolutely adhere to the red pill philosophy, neither or any other philosophy, but I think it's something that is great for most men now in the Western Hemisphere. And oh, you're gonna allow me to? Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, no, it was good.
Okay. Normally when I'm on panels, people cut me off. I'm surprised.
No. It's a go. Now I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just reading through it briefly, and it did have some good points.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I would just mention because it was something that I stumbled across today. But yeah, go ahead.
You know who practices red pill philosophy by nature? The Muslims. And people get mad at me when I say these things. I've had girls say men don't want to protect anymore, and I say, well, it's not that men don't want to protect; it's that you falling out of order with nature. You're not supposed to walk outside dressed half naked. Maybe people wouldn't bother you. Maybe people wouldn't harass you if you did that. But then if a person like myself or if a man says anything like that, the red pill community becomes ostracized. Okay, now we're misogynists, yada yada yada. But in fact, we just want to correct a disorder that we see in society now. And the red pill also talks about more than just women. It talks about you as the man looking in the mirror and trying to understand your existential nature within the universe, trying to be a better man, etc. It's so many things that the red pill covers. Again, finances, being a better man, women, children, religion, philosophy, etc. There's nothing that's really codified about the red pill. It's really just an interpretation of what we saw in the Matrix. But you do have fanatics in the red pill. You have people who take the red pill and they use it as an extremist sector. You have a lot of men who only bash women, just like you have fanatical Christians, fanatical Muslims, fanatical atheists, fanatical people. You do get these people as well. But then you get people who genuinely try to understand what the concepts of the red pill are, or about what Christianity are, or about any other philosophy. If I'm making any sense to you guys.
No, it makes.
I have a question.
Hey man, you can ask me 1,000 questions. Yeah.
Is the red pill and the manosphere the same thing, or
the red pill and the manosphere are the same thing? It runs in tandem. So a lot of talking points in the manosphere are also talking points of the red pill. The thing about the manosphere is that the manosphere basically has views that women are the root cause of a lot of problems in Western society. And that's where I typically disagree with. I think that a lot of the problems really stem from men. But the red pill is an aspect. I'm sorry, the manosphere is an aspect of the red pill, and vice versa. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, do you have a platform where you discuss this stuff?
I do. Yeah. It's my name right here, the Chaotic Truth Live. I go live about every night. I do about 2 and 3 hours worth of live streams. I bring on guests. I interview people. I break down or do breakdown analysis of trending topics, but I try to relate everything back to the red pill. Yeah.
Okay, that's good stuff. This is totally unscripted, but it kind of works with our platform because we do work with different groups and different people, and I learned something new. So thanks for that clarification. We appreciate you.
Hey, no problem.
Okay, now hopefully leave your information and so we can connect.
Yeah, let me go to my page real quick and put it in your.
Okay, Alhamdulillah. That was pretty good.
with all due respect, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, we got to be extremely careful what we co-sign. Like, subhanAllah, a lot of times people see us and what we're doing as an opportunity to spread their stuff. Sometimes the stuff be good in one aspect, and sometimes the stuff lead to kufr, you know? And we have to be extremely careful on what we solicit without knowing ahead of time, you know? And that's nothing personal to the brother himself, but a lot of times part of a philosophy will be good, and then the rest would be kufr, right? And we can't afford to send people that. So in the future, whenever we want to, and I know this was totally unscripted, none of us are responsible. That's the only reason I jumped in, because before he posts his stuff, we should see it first. We should look at it and see if that's something we would promote, right? And so what would be better for the brother if he wanted to share his thing with us, because I won't let him just post it. He can send it to us.
Yeah, he sent it to us.
Yeah, it's in the private chat.
Okay, yeah. And let us look at it first. And I appreciate it, brother, that, you know, at least let us look at it first. And that would be justice to our listening audience. So we don't just give them anything without knowing what we're giving them. Not saying that you have anything, but it's just for our own safety.
No, I think he's off now.
No, he's there. I see him.
Okay.
And inshallah, we hope you tune in, not just for your plug. We hope to see you every week now.
Okay. Right. I thought you were sicky, man.
I am. I ain't that sick. I'm not. I have a responsibility to make sure this thing don't go haywire.
No, that's true. Alhamdulillah.
So no matter how bad I'm feeling, I'm like you. I got my people's back.
Alhamdulillah.
And let me get out of here. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Yeah, so that was another unscripted part. We had Imam Amin chime in. You know, alhamdulillah, that was good. Yeah, so alhamdulillah. So we had Abdul Wali give us apology. Alhamdulillah. And so now where we at with donations? How we looking? Yeah, Papa Bear jumped in.
While we waiting for the update, this dialogue just reminded me of something. Actually, a verse from the Quran, Surah Anfal. No. Yeah, Surah Anfal. Well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَأَتِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ وَلَا تَنَازَعُوا فَتَفْشَلُوا وَتَذْهَبَ رِيحُكُمْ وَاصْبِرُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ مَعَ الصَّابِرِينَ. And this means, and obey Allah and His Messenger, and do not argue with one another. وَلَا تَنَازَعُوا فَتَفْشَلُوا وَتَذْهَبَ رِيحُكُمْ وَاصْبِرُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ مَعَ الصَّابِرِينَ. And Allah gives 3 orders: obey Allah, His Messenger, do not argue. And then He said, you will lose, and your strength will depart or leave from you. Be patient. Allah is with those who are patient. And subhanAllah, this is extremely important because, and I've said it many times on my Facebook platform, like me personally, I'm real conscious about jumping into discussions when it's a gender war. Even if the particular specific subject that's being spoken about, I agree with, but if I feel like it's that one truth is being used to bash the other side, I believe there's no benefit in it. And we have to be careful about this, because look at what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says: obey Allah, order number 1. Number 2, and His Messenger, in other words, obey the Messenger, order number 2. Order number 3, وَلَا تَنَازَعُوا, do not argue with one another. And I believe Isa mentioned it in the comments. This gender war that the Black community has taken on, it didn't start with us. It was the white non-Muslim community who started it. That's their beef. And a lot of our people got caught up with it decades ago. jumping in the feminist movement, and us Muslims have to be very careful about jumping into a gender war. Well, we don't have that issue. Our gender roles and everything are very well spelled out in the Quran and the Sunnah. And so you have to understand that if we get tricked into being divided against each other and arguing against one another, what will happen is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said will happen. Fatafshalu, you'll lose. Fashal means to not be able to accomplish anything. Uh, uh, it's also a word that's used to indicate not be incompetence. Another form of the word is used to indicate a woman that miscarries. In other words, you will not be able to carry something to term. You start something, but you won't be able to finish it. This is a consequence of disobeying these three orders: not obeying Allah, not obeying His messenger, and arguing with one another. Right? And so, we have to be mindful that we don't, and a lot of us we have already jumped into it already. We already pseudo feminists, or we already against women. We blame everything is the man's fault, everything is the woman's fault. We've already went there. And so we've already gotten to this argument that didn't start with us. It didn't start with Muslims, didn't start with black people, it started with other people, right? So we're already in there arguing with one another. We've taken on an argument, right? And as we mentioned, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that this will be the cause of your failure. وَتَذْهَبَ رِيحُكُمْ, and your spirit will leave you, your wind, your motivation, your himma, that will leave from you. And you all seen this, you all bear witness to this. You can see, you can be around Muslims, everything is good, and then Muslims start arguing. What's the first thing that comes to your mind? Oh man, I'm out, man. They arguing, right? Your whole motivation, you felt good being around the Muslims, but now we start arguing. It's like, oh man, we had something good going on. Here y'all go. I'm leaving. I don't even feel like dealing with y'all no more. That's what Allah said will happen if we start arguing, right? Right. So your spirit, your motivation, the thing that pushes you will leave you. And then He says, "Wasbiru, be patient." In other words, hold fast, keep doing what you're doing. Keep obeying Allah, obeying the messenger, and putting in the work. Keep putting in the work, even though the result of your work may not be readily apparent to you. Keep doing it. Be consistent with it. In Allah ma'as-sabirin. And Allah is with the patient one. Allah is with people. Patience don't mean what a lot of us think it mean in English. Like patience, just sit and do nothing and wait for something. That's not patience in Islam. Patience in Islam is you keep working, you keep being consistent. Even if the expected outcome isn't there yet, you still keep doing it. You keep working, right? This is what sabr, or patience, means in Islam. So Allah says, be patient. Allah is with those who are patient. We want Allah with us, right? And obviously, this is not Allah with us in place or anything like that, but Allah is with us. In other words, Allah will help us achieve our goal. Remember, this is from Surah Anfal. This verse was revealed as a result of the Battle of Badr. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling the believers how and why they won, because they adhered to those principles. And if they didn't adhere to those principles, like what happened a year later in the Battle of Uhud, that's why. Because you didn't obey Allah, you didn't obey His messenger when He told you not to leave from around that mountain. Then you started arguing with your leader when he told you not to leave, right? When he told you not to leave, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Don't leave." Told the archers, "Don't leave. Even if you see birds eating off the top of our dead heads, do not leave." And they started arguing with their Amir, and because of that, they lost. When we say they lost, we know they ultimately won, but the losses, the affliction that they faced was because of those reasons. They didn't obey Allah, they didn't obey the messenger, and they argue with one another. And so this is extremely important that we never get caught up in man bashing or women bashing. The reason why we think like that is because that idea, as I believe Abdul Wali just said, that came to us, was given to us by someone else. That's not our thing, where we we have a gender war, or we have a suspicion against someone else just because of their gender or their sex. And like I always say, and I'll stop right here. I don't want to keep rambling, but I always say, anytime a conversation like this happen, and you exclude the puppet master from the equation, I already check out, right? You know, all of this was set up by someone, right? And if we're not going to include him in the conversation, you know, I'm not going to blame other victims. I don't blame the man. I don't blame the woman. I blame the one who created the situation for us to be at each other's throats. And in the Quran, they're called al-mala, the people who are the social engineers, the people who run the society, who run the show. And a lot of times we get used to attacking each other, the male against female, female against the male, the young against the old, the rich against the poor. No, man, who runs this stuff? That's who runs it. But I'm sorry, man.
No, that was good. Alhamdulillah. This and you know, unfortunately, you see it a lot online, and even in real life, where there's always this combativeness between the genders, you know, and we really have to stop it, you know, because you know, you often come across people who take subliminal jabs at each other, or will take an opportunity to, you know, it's all men's fault, or if a man's been scarred by a woman or a bad relationship, you know, he's not ready to get into another one. And, you know, sometimes I wonder if people really realize that time is passing over them, you know, because the way some people act, like, you know, I mean, you hear conversations about, you know, having all of these things in order and like the perfect scenario, and this has to be this and this has to be that. And, you know, time is passing over us, you know, and we're missing out on this beauty of, you know, companionship and marriage and compatibility, and, you know, enjoying each other for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's what's going to really, that's what really makes us a family. You know, when we have, you know, couples unified and, you know, on the same page, and they understand their roles and they're executing those roles to the best of their ability and serving each other. You know, it's really sad. You know, you see brothers really, you know, really talking bad about women, and then you know, if you say something bad about a woman, you know, it's very rare that she's going to resist the urge to not say anything back, you know. And then, you know, they can say some words, and I don't know, there's sometimes the caliber of men these days is like, I don't understand how are you online going back and forth with a woman, you know, and especially if it's on social media, somebody you might not even know, you know, or you don't even know their reality, but you arguing all of these intricate points, and for what, you know? And so we really need to stop that, and we need to stop it when we see it, you know. So yeah, I'm also a proponent of not entering into those you know, gender wars, and, you know, trying to bring something, you know, because when I see it, I'm like, listen, you want to settle all that, just get married. Get married and work it out, then argue. Get married and argue. It's better than that. You know what I mean? It's better to do it like that than, you know, to let something disturb you or aggravate you, and then it removes you further from trying to get married. Because it's a big problem out here these days, with a lot of unmarried people, and they have a lot of these reservations and these apprehensions, and some of them just need to be let go. You know, some of them, you know, I understand that, you know, there's a certain standard that we have, there's certain things that we expect and all of that, but there's some things that we really just have to let go. And, you know, marriage is on the job training. Marriage is on the job training. You know, you learn as you go, and you don't have all the tools at the beginning at your disposal. Some you pick up, you know, some you lose along the way, you know. But, you know, if you keep in the focus for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will see you through every difficulty. And I now that we're talking about marriage, sometimes I think people don't think that, you know, that there's no difficulty in marriages. Like, you know, we mentioned this before. Somebody told us to get married happily ever after. They lied. Somebody told us wrong. That anybody that has any kind of function in marriage, especially for a long time, all types of problems, all types of problems. You know, some that you wouldn't even expect, and they're more common than not. You know, and but they decided to stick it in there, especially when we say we get married for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I married her for Allah's sake, or I married him for Allah's sake. So then if you did it for Allah's sake, that means your sake is not priority. Your sake is not priority. Your happiness is not priority. You enter into a contract that for Allah, you are trying to do your best for this other person, you know, and you have to find happiness in that. And sometimes it won't always be that, you know, but you keep working at it. You keep working at it. You know, it's not easy. You know, some of these things that we expect, we got to grow and develop them together. You know what I mean? Because if we don't have strong families, we ain't going to have a strong future, you know. So we really got to work on, you know, and another thing when we're picking mates, you know, a lot of times, you know, we pick mates and some, you know, it should be expected that they're not everything that we thought that they would be. And, you know, but they are people that you saw with your own intellect, with your own feeling that this is somebody that I think is good for marriage for me. You know, they have some kind of qualities that you saw that you feel like that can be something to benefit to you, you know, and you just make it work. You know, marriage is a lot of forgiveness. It's a lot of flexibility. You know, I think sometimes we we read these narrations about, you know, the woman is supposed to obey the man, and, you know, like the Prophet ﷺ said, if anybody was supposed to make sajda before somebody else, it would be the wife before the husband. And I think we don't really understand the context. When we read some of this stuff, but behind closed doors, you know, we ain't the lions that we portray or we think we're supposed to be, you know. And I can tell you, being married 24 years, there's a lot of yes, honey. Yes, honey. I love you, honey. You're absolutely right. Those are my favorite lines these days. Sure. Whatever you wish. I love you. Uh-huh. You're right. Yeah. You're beautiful. You know, I'm trying $1 million worth of game, man. I'm trying to tell you. Yeah, but it's work, man. But we need to put in that work. And, you know, because if we run away from that kind of stuff, we won't have any stability with anything else. You know, if you can't be in there hanging there with a woman or a man, how are you going to hang in there for a community? How are you going to hang in there for children? How are you going to hang in there when things get tight? You know, these are things that we need, you know. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know, He is Al-Razak. He provides us with all the necessary tools for us to handle it. That's why, you know, men and women have different psychological makeup and physiological makeups, man, because they're suited for the roles that they're supposed to play. They're suited for the roles that they're supposed to play, you know. So we just have to really work on it. And sometimes, you know, a lot of when I'm reading from a lot of people these days, that people are scared to be vulnerable. You know, people are scared to be vulnerable. You know, I read some of those marriage things from, you know, I'm not going to mention their names, but I share them on other platforms. But it's like, you know, it's these white women, you know, but they got it down pat. You know what I mean? I don't mean to say it in a bad way, but they're saying that some of the bad things that the society has taught us about men and women that we just really have to undo because they deceived us. They deceived us. And when you look at it, it's some of these roles that we are naturally inclined to as Muslims, where the man is the provider, he's the source of security, he's the leader, he's the manager, and the woman is just compliments him. It's really as simple as that. It's really as simple as that. And then putting all the pieces together in between, you know. And it ain't always going to be a pretty picture. It ain't always going to be a happy ending. It's not always going to have a romantic ending. It's not always going to be, you know, how we thought it was, but it still can be, you know. So, yeah, I want to go on too much, but there's something.
Yeah,
so
Imam Faheem.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now, just what you were just saying and what we talk about, it just reminded me of something, you know, because I travel frequently, you know, to West Africa. You know, one a lot of things stand out to me. You know, that's why I love traveling, because a lot of times when you outside of your normal environment, you kind of like reflect on where you're from. It makes you think about, you know, some things that you might not, notice, because if you're in the forest, you're there. You in it. But if you physically out of it, a lot of times you can think about, your situation. You can see it a lot of times with a lot more clarity. And one of the things I believe that we don't realize is that, like, we don't really have a culture here. Like, we may call it culture, but it's not really culture. Like, something that's acceptable today because of multimedia and propaganda campaigns and stuff like this, it may be completely unacceptable 2 years from now, right? And we can give a lot of examples about that, right? And so it just made me think, because, and I'm saying all this to say that most other non-Western places, you have gender roles. There are certain roles that the different sexes are supposed to play. There's certain roles that certain age groups are supposed to play, except certain members of the family is supposed to play. Here, we don't have none of that, right? And so it just made me think, and there's some, because my daughter Khadijah's here, she can remember when I brought her to Gambia last year, right? I asked her if she wanted to slaughter a chicken, right? And she was like, yeah. So we got the chicken back to the house, and I told my wife, not Samira, my Gambian wife, I told her, I said, yeah, Khadijah's going to slaughter the chicken. She was like, no. I'm like, oh, why? She's like, it's haram. I'm like, haram? What are you talking about? It's haram, right? It's like, no, you don't do that. I'm like, all right, man, whatever. Ain't no haram, man. You ain't no fakir. It ain't haram, right? So when it came time to slaughter the chicken, I'm getting the knife, right? And me and Khadijah's outside, and my wife came outside running. No, you can't let her do it. I'm like, yo, you serious about this, right? I had to keep her away. Like, no, go in the house. We're going to slaughter this chicken. So Abdullah, Khadijah slaughtered the chicken. But what I learned afterwards was that in that society, in that culture, women don't slaughter animals. Even if there's no man available in the house at the moment, and women want to slaughter an animal to cook, to prepare food, they will go outside the compound, find a strange brother, hey, can you slaughter this animal for me? To slaughter the animal. It's just something in their culture, and I have many Gambians verify this for me, that, it's just something that they don't do, right? Even if she's capable or whatever, they don't do it. They get even a strange man to slaughter the animal for them, like that. And I'm just, this whole idea, because a lot of times, again, like these ideas, we attacking each other and fighting each other and all that kind of stuff, is because the people are playing with us. Mass marketing campaigns designed to keep us divided against each other. If we weren't snatched from our culture or cultures and brought to this laboratory and experimented on, and in 1995, this is completely unacceptable. But in the year 2000, it's acceptable. And in 2005, it's unacceptable again. And it just this is a laboratory. We have to understand the reality that we live in. This, I keep saying over again, this is not a normal situation. We are literally living in a laboratory, and there's some scientists experimenting on us. Okay, let's introduce this right here. Okay, let's see how they react. All right, tweak it a little bit, add a little bit more. Okay, tone it down a little bit, pull back a little bit. Okay, introduce that there. Okay, this is the control group. This is not the control group. Like, this is literally what's being done to us on a social level, right? And we don't understand it. And so this is because, we live in a place that was taken from other people that had a culture. These people came in and they making this stuff up as they go along. And so I know I'm going way out there somewhere, but I just that just reminded me of that how just, if there was a real culture, a lot of these discussions and arguments we wouldn't be having it, because the culture itself would protect the people from even engaging in those type of things. And so that's why we have to be careful. Like, again, I believe it was Abdul Wali who said it. Like, we have ideas that we hold firmly to, and we don't even realize where these ideas came from, who gave us these ideas. And a lot of times these ideas are completely alien to Islam and go against Islam.
No, alhamdulillah. Yeah, and one other thing too is that the assault on traditional family. In this culture they make it seem like that being single and being available, like this is like virtuous, and for you to promote family values and marriage and children, like that's like it's like a liability. You know what I'm saying? And this culture has been pushing that. I mean, we look at we always look at celebrities and stuff like that. It seems like they're worth more when they're single and they're open and they're free, they're not tied down by anything. And then it's like, if they get married and they have children, stuff that people are naturally inclined to do, you know what I mean? It's like, it takes away their value. And then you have, people who have shied away from that. And it's like, okay, yeah, what, you have a celebrity, in their 50s and they saying like they're absolutely happy because, they don't have any children. They're not tied down by anything. And they're not really happy. They're not really happy. They wanted that stuff. And for whatever reason, they put their career and stuff like that first. And, they just had to tell themselves that, and sometimes we buy into that, we've adapted this mold of some of these ideas that they've given us about marriage and family and, living situations. And we just tell ourselves, okay, well, I'm just going to be comfortable with this because, yada, 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 we absolutely should not be comfortable with being unmarried for long periods of time. We absolutely should not be comfortable with that. We should absolutely not be comfortable with telling ourselves that because my absolute happiness is not included in the marriage that I won't do it. We should not be comfortable with telling ourselves that we're not going to be heads of households and all of these things because we see problems with a woman and her challenging us and all that. That's what it's supposed to be sometimes. We're not talking about reckless stuff, but we're talking about men and women, they're alike, but they're different. And all of that stuff shows up in the marriage, and you just handle it. But we should absolutely not be comfortable with some of these ideas that they're pushing on us, but and we use it as an excuse to not really do things, and although marriage is very serious, I mean, it's better, and I've heard this thing, it's better to be, I read this the other day, it said it's better to be like happy in your being single than to be miserable and being married, and I don't really buy into that because, what is true happiness anyway? Which is, what is true happiness? We're talking Jannah, If you want to be happy, you got to make it to Jannah, But if you want to enjoy the comfort of each other, you got to get married, And I mean, it's not going to be absolute happiness. And I seen a video the other day. Somebody was like, they play these videos and make it seem like a relationship is just all bliss. It was these non-Muslims, a man and woman, they on a night on the town and he's doing all of the things, open the door, he got flowers, it's candle lights, and they're in the park walking, it's the perfect weather, and they gazing in each other's eyes. And I'm like, wow, that's beautiful. Wow. But when they turn the camera off, what happens when he pisses her off one day? He don't do it. He gonna hear an earful, and what happens when whatever, that's the part of the just part of a relationship. You just get through it, and we just had to get back to that because traditionally marriage wasn't meant to be absolute happiness. It's a contract between a man and woman before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so that they can enjoy each other. And from that, when you work on that, then you build a family, you build a unit, you build a foundation. Because being husbands and wives and mothers and fathers and caretakers and providers, these are careers as well. These are careers, you know what I'm saying? And they're noteworthy careers, you know what I mean? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them to us as a means of power, you know what I'm saying? And we have to use it, you know what I'm saying? And we're not strong when we're by ourselves. You know, we're not strong by ourselves. And this is another thing that, you know, we're supposed to be strong and independent and on our own, and we don't need anybody. No, we all need somebody for something. You know, we all got to trade off for something. We all got to settle for something. We all got to negotiate something, you know. And why not do it in a marriage with someone that you can at least can compliment you, and, you know, you have your highs and your lows, and someone's there with you. Now, granted, there are situations that, you know, people shouldn't be in, but for the most part, we can work through those things. We can work through those things. You know, you pick somebody, and especially if you've been married before, you know, you have a sense about what you're looking for and what you're not looking for. Don't deny those instincts. A lot of times we've been denying instincts, you know, and then we go against our better judgment, and then all of a sudden it's everybody else's fault. No, you saw the red flag, but you said, I thought, or it seemed like, or, you know, she seemed like, you know, and some things that you normally wouldn't settle for because she was just so beautiful or whatever, you just disregarded your logic, you know. No, don't do that, because marriage is not about eternal bliss or endless happiness. It's about enjoying each other while we're in this worldly life. And a big part of it is procreation. You know what I mean? They take all the responsibility out of it and just all of the desires that they want to keep, you know. And a lot of our, you know, because now you hear a lot of Muslims, subhanAllah, you know, buying into this dating thing. You hear a lot of Muslims, you know, really talking about dating and meeting someone, and then they don't meet a certain criteria. Okay, they're not done. And then, well, when are you going to meet the absolute criteria? When? Somebody's, you know, I read this today. It said no woman is going to find everything wrapped up into one man. And the same man for women. You're not going to find everything that you're looking for in one particular person. And then they had studies. They said that there are at least 10 categories of indifference between men and women that they will never settle. At least 10 categories of indifference between men and women when they marry that they will never settle. And all of our married people know there's some things we just not going to agree on as husbands and wives. I'm not going to do this. She's not going to do this. If I do this, it's going to be based on this and vice. But at the same time, we're going to go to bed with each other, and we're going to wake up with each other. We're going to still do our thing, you know, and it's worth it. You know, it's not going to be all happiness. And that's what some of the things we have to really realize. Yeah, because, you know, people, don't settle for nothing. You know, you got to settle for something. You bought those bag of chips, it was full of air, and you paid money. You ain't balk at the price, and it was halfway full. You didn't take it back to the store. You know, the brother might be halfway full, you know. Give him something to fill the other half up. Instead of saying, oh, he only halfway full, I don't want him. No, fill him up the other way, and vice versa. You know what I mean? And just work on each other, man, because this is really needed. Because we talking about family, and going forward, we're going to really need family, because we talk about, you know, in some instances in this family, we marrying each other. Our children marrying each other. Our children dealing with each other. You know, we getting together. When we get together in person, we're going to be engaging each other as family members, man. So there's something to think about, you know.
That's very important, because I think that's another aspect that we leave out, a lot of us here, because a lot of us think that, okay, I may be the only Muslim in my family, so my family got nothing to do with who I'm about to marry. Oh, that's a big mistake. Your family should still be involved in your marriage, because marriage is about building families and uniting families. All kind of, you know, everybody else understands that except us. That's another difference. Everybody else understands that except us. You know, in order to marry that sister most of the time, you know, you got to go through with the family. The family may not see you as a good fit in their family, right? And vice versa. You know, we don't have that. And so that's a level of protection that's removed away from our people here that, you know, want to get married. And a lot of times we remove that level of protection from ourselves. You know, us getting married is an individual affair. I like him, he like me. Nobody else need to like it. We just want to get married. And a lot of times that's what destroys it in and of itself. And a lot of times, when marriage is going through a rough spot, and all marriages go through rough spots, it be that family that keep it together. I remember one time a brother, I was at his marriage. He got married in Sudan. A lot of you probably know who I'm talking about. But in any case, we was at his marriage. We was at his wedding ceremony, excuse me, in Sudan. And while we were there, maybe about a week or so, a couple of weeks after the marriage, a couple of the uncles came by and, and was, checking in on him, right? Checking in on the couple. And so I remember asking, they come and making sure you're treating her right. He was like, yeah, but not only that, they coming to make sure she's treating me right. He's like, because they looking at it like she represents us. So they coming to make sure that I'm treating her right, but they also making sure that she's not dishonoring the family. She represents us. So they coming to make sure everything is good, right? And because we come from broken families and all that kind of stuff, we don't think about marriage like that. A lot of times the family that we cut out is a family that could keep the marriage together, keep strengthening it. And we don't even think about this. Like even in Surah Nisa, chapter 4, right? The verse of nushuz, right? Rebellion, right? It talks about how to rectify the situation if there's a problem in the marriage. The fourth part, the after admonition, after separating the bed, after physical admonition, then there's a fourth one that people don't talk about. Calling arbitrators from his family, one from her family. The family, right? We forget that part. It's the families involved in it. And and this is part of the deen, but we cut that part out of the deen. And our excuse a lot of times for cutting the family out is that, oh, they're not Muslim, or it's just me and her, or just me and him. They ain't got nothing to do with it. A lot of times our family don't even know who we married to. They're not connected at all. And this is a disaster. We should be fighting twice as hard to be about family, being that we were taken away from our family and had our family systematically, disrupted over and over and over again. We should be thinking opposite of that. Like, no, we need to be doubly more about family than everybody else is, because this is what was taken away from us. And so, that part in marriage about family, it's a family affair. Like Sister Issa said, it's a family affair. A lot of times we don't get it. We off doing our own thing, disobeying our family, disconnected from the family, and we want to run off and do our own thing. And as I think I said before, one of my Facebook pages stats, like a lot of times we be playing a game, and then when we lose, we want to act like we the victim. Now we ain't the victim. We voluntarily played the game. We didn't stay with the family. We didn't stay within, under the protection of the shepherd. And we went out to do our own thing, and we got caught by a wolf. And now we're going to blame the shepherd when we stuck away from the shepherd. So,
Yeah, it's a family affair, like Sly Stone and them said. For y'all youngers, y'all might not know who that is, but yeah, it's funny, man, because I had a few situations, when people want to get married and they be like, oh, I wanted to be a small wedding. What do you mean small wedding? Did you inform your family? Yeah, but they're not Muslim. So I always tell sisters, wait a minute. Or then, I had sisters that, they had a Muslim father. Oh, well, he ain't really practicing. Okay, did he denounce Islam? No. Well, don't make excuses because you've been talking to this guy. You done made it like a rendezvous. No, let your father be involved. Don't be asking me to be your wakil. Your father's a Muslim. I don't care whatever if he's not practicing according to what you're saying. You might not be practicing, like you say. Who is? So, or people. I mean, one time we had a nikah, and I always tell people, like, invite your family. This is a big deal to them. Of course, in Islam, it's very simple, but to our non-Muslim family members, this is a big step. When their daughter's son's getting married, to them it's something grand, and to us it's something grand. You know what I mean? But invite them, and then they invite their non-Muslim family. Then I would tell them about the whole courting process, and then some of them have a strange look, like they ain't do that. You could tell they was like, they ain't do none of that. They didn't sit down with us. They just called us, told us to be here. And I always had to check brothers and sisters, be like, wait a minute, sis, this brother never met your mom or your dad? No, because you're not Muslim. Are you saying this your dad that raised you? Or tell a sister you never met his mom? No, he said because his mom, they bad, they didn't have a bad relationship. Well, that's something you need to know, sis. His mom, motherhood and fatherhood is universal because they non-Muslim. They don't know how to be mother and father. That's little Chester they raised. He's Abdullah to you, but they know him around the way as little Chester. And hopefully wasn't Chester the blank, you need to find that out. You know what I'm saying? You need to find out who his friends were that could tell you about him. You know what I mean? Same way you find out about sisters, who they went to school with, and all that kind of stuff, man. People don't be doing this, man. And we really need to really stop that and include family, So I really make it, and yeah, there's just so much stuff. We really need a whole nother podcast for this, man, marriage, because it's super, super important, and it's something that we really gonna need to concentrate on, because as I was saying earlier, Muslims are resorting to just dating, and everything not going as according to plan on the date, and all of a sudden their status say it's complicated. It's supposed to be complicated, uncomplicated, by drawing closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the marriage. It don't have to be no perfect situation to get married, because that's what the marriage is, taking two imperfect situations to try to make them as close as perfection as you can. Working, forgiving, overlooking, patience. And usually it's more patience than what we say. I was patient with the sister. It's what, 3 weeks? Oh yeah, we've been married 2 years, and I'm tired of you. Ain't even did nothing yet. 2 years? Come on, you're just getting to know each other. You got to stick in there. And I always learned this from non-Muslim people. They, like, how long should it be? They say 10 years. Before you start to see the kinks iron out. 10 years. And I tell this to people who are newlyweds that ask for counseling. They be like, oh man, I can't do it no more. What do you mean? You can't do what you haven't done, or you haven't done anything. What do you mean you can't do it? You haven't done anything. All you did was look for every imperfection in this person and every expectation, and then they didn't meet the standard. You just ready to give up. Or the sister, you was looking for all of this stuff and it didn't happen, and you thought you thought you read the hadith a certain way, and no, that's not how it go. You got to work through all of that stuff, man. So may Allah help us, but this is something we gotta clean up.
I mean, that what you said is extremely important. Like, that's one of the things I believe is one of the glues with my marriage, like with Samira. Like, when I met her father before he passed, both her parents have passed. My parents are like her parents. Sometimes I'm jealous. Samira's on here now. She'll tell you. She'll be like, I just got an email from mom. You read that email? I'm like, she emailed me. I emailed you. I didn't get that message. I'm her son. What's up with you? You try to steal my parents. She's my wife, but she's also like the sister I never had. You know what I mean? And so, family, right? I don't know how any other way to say how important family is, to keeping the marriage together. It's like a sacred protection, the marriage in and of itself, And we have to stop cutting that part out. Like we be going against Revelation, thinking we following Revelation. We have to really stop doing that. And like I think somebody mentioned earlier, we need to have workshops. Uh, it's really about not only a change of the mentality and the information that's there, but we have to get out of being, because this society trains us to just do for self, forget everybody else, family and Islam don't work like that. And we have to work in Islam, being fully cognizant of the fact that the society and the world that we live in is going against Islam, even with regards to the family values and all of those and all of those type of things. So our family should be involved in everything. And like you talking about wedding being a small thing. All the situations I've seen, like on the African continent, even the small weddings, right, with poor people, right, the women do it up. A lot of times the men likes maybe in the masjid doing all the technical stuff, to offer an acceptance, to make sure the dowry's been paid and all that kind of stuff. But the women, they getting handed up, they making it rain, literally making it rain on each other, not like we do at the club, but same thing. They partying, the elders is giving advice, they getting handed up. It's party time, right? They'll get a message, okay, the wedding has been concluded, right? So you officially married, but they still partying. It ain't like here, you both you on the Imam's office, the Imam, 2 witnesses, offering acceptance, dowry paid, the dowry deferred, then y'all leave, y'all go to the hotel. It ain't like that. Nah, man. You might not be able to see your wife that night in some cultures, because the women be partying in some cultures for days, right? If you have the American mindset, you might be like, come on, man, I need to see my wife, man. They still partying? Nah, but so even the point I wanted to make about that, even the small weddings over there, it's a ceremony, and it's something that they're going to remember. And take my advice, Samira can tell you, right? A lot of times brothers be doing these small weddings. If your marriage lasts, a lot of times your wife will be like, I wish I had a bigger wedding. When I say bigger, I don't necessarily mean expensive, but friends there, families there. It's an event, it's a memory. You want to create a memory, right? That's a big event. You're getting married. You're not buying a bag of potato chips with air in it, like Imam Faheem said. No, it's a marriage. It's a wedding. It need to be special, right? And we be cheating our people out of that stuff, right? Claiming we following the Sunnah, right? No, man. The Sunnah don't prohibit you from having a culture and enjoying yourself. The Sunnah prohibits any aspect of a culture that goes against Islam, yeah. But you can have family and friends and have a party, long as there's nothing in it that goes against Islam. So we need to make it special. That's another thing. A lot of times we don't see our marriages as special. That's why we throw it away so quick. It was only 3 or 4 of us there. Most of the people don't even know we married unless they look at our Facebook marriage page and it says such and such is married to such and such, and both of their profile pictures is right there. Whatever. There's nothing special about it. We don't treat it special. Nothing. It's just anything else. I can erase my marriage just by one click of the button by changing my marital status. Married to such and such, to it's complicated, or single. That's that. And nobody would know I was married. Islam is not supposed to be like that. The walima is supposed to be lit. In some schools of thought, the walima is a substitute for the witness, because you are announcing the wedding. Everybody knows you got married, the walima. Well, we don't even do that. We don't have no walima, no witnesses, there's no memory. The wedding's not special to you, the wedding's not special to her, and the wedding's not special, and the marriage is not special. 2 months later, 3 weeks later, I'm out. Bye. Right? So, we need to change our mentality.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, we're a little bit over the time mark, I think. So are there any questions before we conclude? If any questions, we'll try to entertain them before we finish up. But we hope this is like this is just some general gems in the continuation. But remind ourselves to please be ready to, give up your ideas and stuff like that. We're going to revisit, the email list that we had, where we had everybody putting their, the specialties and stuff like that, and what part that you can play specifically, and then, we put it all together. We take the best ideas, because nobody, we don't want anybody to feel like left out, but we should understand that, we want to go what's going to work the best for us, as a unit. And then we do things like take a vote on it. Of course, we'll consult you all and we see what's the best recourse, and then we just move on it, inshallah ta'ala. But we definitely want to move forward and keep growing and keep growing and keep growing, So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us tawfiq. Yeah, come on, champ. Come on through, man. I'll lay it out for you, man. Red carpet, sniper, street blocked off, however you need it, man. So we don't have any questions, inshallah. Alhamdulillah. Thank you all. We met our goal tonight. It wouldn't hurt to get more real quick, as a quick, we could double it up. We met the 500 goal real quick. We probably can get another 500. I know y'all got it in you. Y'all holding out on us. Run that bread. Yeah, so alhamdulillah. Okay. So if there's no questions, inshallah, he said mention the awesome Quran challenge. Oh, okay. Yeah, we have an event on our page. It's called the 60-day Quran reading challenge, and so what we do is we read a hizb a day, so to complete the Quran over 2 months. I think this is like the 25th installment that we've done so far, and we try to do it at least 3 or 4 times a year. Of course, we stop for Ramadan. So, alhamdulillah, this year has been a lot of participants. So what we do is we post a section to read the night before, and then you have from that time up until the next day to read the hizb, which is a half a juz, and post the ayat that stood out to you. So it's an event. It's an event on our page, inshallah. So we have quite a few people joining it. There are a few people here, like Sister Malika, Brother Abdulrahim is on there, and a few others. So we almost finished the first half, and on January 1st we'll start from the second. We'll start the second half of the challenge, inshallah. So look out for that. If you want to join us, ahlan wa sahlan. And we post the ayats just for tracking, because we can get bogged down in our everyday activities and we can just forget about it, so we just ask people to post so it helps you to keep up with the momentum, inshallah. So thank you for those who are joining in, and inshallah we see more people. All right, so there are no questions. Imam Naeem, you want to take us out with dua? Charlie Murphy.
Alhamdulillah. We really appreciate all of you for engaging with us and commenting and giving your feedback and supporting, because supporting us is actually supporting yourself. We all family and we all we got. So once again, it don't hurt to keep our Imam Amin in your dua. We pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give him a speedy recovery and strengthen him even more, with even more strength than he was before the onset of the sickness. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase all of you in taqwa and God-fearingness and ikhlas and sincerity and hidayah and guidance. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta wa astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Wal 'asr innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa 'amilu salihati wa tawassaw bil haqqi wa tawassaw bis sabr. Al-Fatiha. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.